first of all, where it starts, the work that starts is with you. Okay, so the very first thing we want to talk about is you guys probably heard me say this before, wants versus need, so that you can begin to understand. Yeah, because when we begin to understand your wants versus needs, you'll understand why this is important. So the word needs is means to have necessity. Okay, there's you can't do without it. Okay, the word needs mean that it's fundamental. Okay, I can't go without it. Like your phone is not necessarily a necessity. You understand? A bank account necessarily isn't a necessity, but in some circumstances a bank account would be, because most jobs won't give you a job if you ain't got a bank account. Yeah, so let's say the job requirement was that you had to have a bank account. That would be a necessity, right? Yeah, so the necessity, you have to understand what is my needs for me and what is my wants. So let me give you a want. Whoa, let me give you a want. A want here is that you want the girl to have a bunda. Yeah, the want is you want the guy to be 6 foot. Yeah, it's a want. It's not really a need. If I'm gonna be honest with you, it's more of a want. A want, okay, is to have a strong desire for something. It's to have an inclination for something. And the word desire means to express a wish, like deep it. So what we're actually saying here is that your desire for something is based upon the fact that, hey, I have a wish for something, which means now that actually it's not a necessity. It's a wish. It's like a genie thing, right? So to deep the whole situation here, it's not a necessity. Once you're able to put down what is in my needs bracket and what's in my wants bracket, people who are broken, oftentimes, when you know you can't, listen, I'm gonna put it straight as well. Most of us are broken. I don't think there's anybody that's not broken in some shape, some form. Now, there are broken people to a point where they become toxic, and there are malignant, or I should say, malign, or should I say, I'm saying big words here. People that are inert, again, that's a big word. Let me break it down again. People that are not, it's just everyday brokenness that we all have, right? Yeah. And so we all have, I guess, some aspect of us that is a little bit broken. Okay, we all have our own thoughts and opinions and experiences that have been negative that will drive us to a certain point of judgment, right? So in some sense, we all have some type of brokenness, but some brokenness is leading to toxicity. Okay, and that's important, because once we understand that, once we get it, okay, then you're able to say, hey, this is something that I can't deal with. Yeah, toxicity, nobody should be dealing with toxicity. Do you understand? Like, nobody. And again, I want to break it down for you, go, when we're talking about toxicity as well, okay, there are thank you, Tracy, I appreciate that, and little Miss Rosie, I appreciate that as well. When it comes to toxicity, some people have some traits that are a little bit toxic, but I would say they're not destructive of a relationship. What do I mean by that? It's workable. Yeah, like some of you, let's say for instance, you're a little bit rude. Yeah, the way you deliver some of your sentences, it's rude. The way you, and listen, I class toxicity across the board. Like, all of these things can be toxic. Do you know what I mean? You know, you're rude. The way you deliver things is too sharp. Yeah, it's something you're working through. You can work through it. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you are controlling to the point where you become physically abusive, emotionally abusive, these things are toxic that bring destruction. Therefore, you're a broken person that needs to stay out of it. You need to be on the bench. I don't know. You can't be starting on the field, on the bench, okay? Because you're causing too much damage. Do you get me? So in that regard, you know, there's different levels, even when we're talking about a broken individual and what we can and what we can't do. But the very first thing we want to talk about is you. What is your need and what is your want? You know what I'm saying? What is it? What is it is? Oh, it is what it is. It just means that it is what it is. It's like it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing you can do about it. That's the thing. That's the thing that's there. That's it. Nothing else you can say about it. It's how you define what your needs and wants are. You sit down and you take account. The Bible says, how what man who desires to build doesn't sit down and count the cost? Basically meaning be premeditated. Yes, be premeditative. Sit down, slow down. I just want to get to know you. We just play that song, right? Slow all the way down. Sit down with your mind and begin to assess, what does Kojo need? What does Daniela need? What does Shanice need? What does Luke need? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you sit down and you think about, what is it that I actually cannot live without? And then you go into that. Then you say, that's okay, that's my set of narratives. I can't deal with anything else, right? So that's one way. That's really more of a preventive, rather than even spotting somebody else who's a broken person. We're going to go into spotting a broken person now. So